Hi, I'm Ingrid Blackburn. Today's project is a clean and simple Christmas tree. This card was designed for the Christmas challenge over at Happy Little Stampers, so be sure to check that out with this link. And we're going to use stencils, we're going to use dye-based ink, and stamps to create this. So let's get started. So I have this great stencil by Stamplerations, and this is a fun little Christmas tree and a great little circle Christmas tree. So first we're going to need to attach our stencil to our cardstock and our cardstock to our stencil. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when stenciling is not securing both your work surface and your stencil down. So we're going to use some washi tape to do that, both on the front and back, and then we are going to continue on by using some Post-it notes. Now I just want to make sure to cover all these other little spots. So I'm taking some Post-it notes that I have. You can also take some washi tape if you want to cover it that way. That's perfect. Take a Post-it note here. And we'll also make sure on this side that it covers that up because I don't want to get any ink there. I have my piece of cardstock that's attached to here. I'm going to add another little tiny piece of washi tape here. Just tear a little off there. Make sure that that's not going anywhere. Perfect. So we are fully secure here. All right, now I have the French script background, and this is a great background stamp. This is a retired background stamp, unfortunately, but there are so many that are out there that are just like it. And we're gonna take the Early Espresso by Stampin' Up, which is a great dark brown, and we just wanna kind of coat this up here. Get it inked up rather well. We're going to take our stencil and we're going to flip this upside down. So the part that you see so this way you can't see anything. This is what you want to face your stamp. And we're just going to place it down so that it doesn't move. And we're just going to kind of push our fingers through because we want that stamp to come through the stencil. You don't want this to move. That's not what we're trying to achieve here. If you don't get it perfect, that's okay too. So we'll just kind of get that all through there. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of lift this and see if I can, see if I need to still see. I secured it in place while lifting it and it looked pretty good. So there you go. So you can see we have our stamped part through our stencil here, which is perfect. So now what we need to do is we're done with this. We want to remove our stencil from our project and we want to clean it off. So I'm going to go do that really quick. So now that we have that cleaned off for the most part, so we're going to place this back down. You want to make sure to get it in the general gist of where you had it before. It may seem difficult, but it's actually rather easy. Once you can kind of see the outline, especially where these edges are over here. The curved edges, they help you probably more than any of them. In addition to using the washi tape to secure our stencil to our project, next we're going to also cover up all the exposed cardstock underneath, in addition to the tree trunk and the star. And now we're going to take several shades of Distress ink to color in our tree. I'm going to start off with Bundled Sage, and Bundled Sage is a rather nice, not really light, there's not really too many light greens. It probably looks light, but it's really not once you see it go down. And we're just going to kind of burnish, sponge our tree here. Now you can see we've got that great scripty font underneath, and then we're just going to add this really cool kind of muted green. Now I'm going to come back over this with some forest moss, which I find to be a gorgeous shade. I tend to use this shade probably more than any of the greens. And I'm just going to add a little bit of interest here, just kind of creating my own green. You know, trees are not always completely the same color. I do want to kind of tap into the corners here and just really make sure that we get those rather well. So just kind of pushing that ink through there and just kind of covering everything, and then coming back with the bundled sage. And I'm going to want to take a paper towel here and just kind of wipe off what I have so that I'm not getting too much. I think I've just put that in the wrong color. I did. So let's get that in there and just kind of blend this all together. It creates a very pretty green. Now that came up, you want to make sure that that stays down because you don't want to get any ink onto that edge. You'll need to then cut that off. Now we're going to do our star here, so I want to wipe away. I want to make careful not to get any of that green into that area. And we're just going to cover that up right there. Take some mustard seed. And just get that nice and bright yellow. Mustard seed is perfect for that. And then down here, we want to do the same. We want to make sure to wipe away from where we're working. I have a little bit of water on my paper towel there, and that's helping to remove that distress ink rather easily. Using some Post-it notes there, we're going to take gathered twigs and just kind of create our little stem down here. Now gathered twigs is a little lighter than the espresso that we used, so that you could see that really well. Now you can do two things here. You could leave this as is, or if you want it to have sort of a glossy look to it, you can then smush a Versamark pad over it and use clear embossing powder, and that will give you a real glossy looking tree. But I'm not really going for that look today. So, and you can see that I was not so careful here at the bottom, and I got a little bit of ink there. So this was a little longer than I wanted anyway, so I will trim that off and we will put our card together. So now that we have this great little piece, we've trimmed it down so that it fits our project here, and the dimensions are on the blog, and it's going to go basically around there. So I've gone ahead and I have this great little stamp called Season's Greetings, and this is from More Merry Messages by Stampin' Up. You can use any Christmas greeting that you have, and we're just going to place this where we want it, and I'm going to use a Stamp-A-Majig so that I get it perfectly positioned. Just get that placed down. I'm going to use the same ink, Gathered Twigs, as our stem. Just get that inked up using the Distress ink. Secure this down, and that holds our project in place. Probably should have lifted that up just in case, but too late now, and we'll just go ahead and stamp. Give it a second to adhere, lift up our greeting, and there we go. So now we're going to pop this up onto some dimensionals. You can use foam tape as well, and there's your card. So I'm just going to flip this over. Now it is important to note that my card is actually an A4 size, and A4 is the traditional card size that you'll find in Europe. And the reason that I went with that size rather than the traditional A2 that I usually use is this image is a rather long image, and I wanted to have enough space for a greeting without going over my image. So you can create a custom envelope or just get envelopes in the A4 size. And we'll just place that down. Got some dimensionals there, and we have a really great, clean and simple card using a little bit of detail and some layers in here with some stamping and sponging. Here are some great close-up photos for you. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that you want to see more great content from me. And here are a few recent videos from my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and YouTube will let you know when I have fresh new content that's ready to be viewed. If you haven't visited the blog, be sure to check it out as well. The link is in the description below. And you can also sign up for our Creative Tips newsletter there, which starts off with an exclusive video series not found here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.